is all fun and games until someone gets hurt. Let's talk about some fireworks and fireworks safety specifically with an expert in the field. He is with Hughes and Coleman. He is an attorney, and his name is Joe Griffith. Joe, first of all, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
You know, you were telling me stories during that commercial break. I don't think people, I think people realize how dangerous it is, but I don't think people know how often it occurs. Injuries with fireworks. You see this all the time, right?
Every year we see injuries happen, and they are avoidable if folks just take the time to think about it.
All right, let's talk about that then. Fireworks safety. So from a professional and someone who's seen a lot, give us a few recommendations, if you would, Joe.
Well, first of all, never drink alcohol or use any kind of drugs when you're going to be messing with fireworks. I mean, they're fun and beautiful to see, and they're fun to see the results of, but the results unsupervised can have catastrophic consequences, and that's what we all want to avoid. So we just need to think about what we do before we do it. If you have children on your property or relatives on your property, and it's your property, if they do something that could hurt someone else or hurt themselves even, you can be responsible as the homeowner for that, and that's not something people think about all the time. And so it's important that on your property you take the time to lay the ground rules about what we're going to do and how we're going to do it, and let's do it safely.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, so to be clear, if you're having a 4th of July party, and maybe it's a guest you don't even know that well, but who happen to come along, maybe you tag along with another friend, and they do something on your property that injures another person, you as the homeowner are liable, is that right?
You can be liable as the homeowner, correct. Oof. Yeah, you can be. So it's important that you establish ground rules and make sure everybody's acting safely. One of the things we talked about over the break was a tragic incident we had where folks had a dog that was afraid of fireworks, and the kids were shooting off bottle rockets, and for a while they were being responsible. They're shooting them in the air around nobody, but there was traffic in front of the property. The dog got frightened and happened to jump on one of the kids as they were shooting the bottle rocket. The bottle rocket goes into traffic, it explodes inside a car. People inside the car were seriously injured. They lost control of the car and had a wreck with somebody else, and people in that car were seriously injured. So just one bottle rocket incident caused 7 near catastrophic injuries. You know,
there's a part of me that says, hey, I don't want to cause alarm here, but then we do want to cause alarm. I mean, there's so many red flags here when you get fireworks, and you mentioned something pretty obvious, maybe common sense, but alcohol and fireworks do not mix. Okay, let me give you a scenario. Let's assume that I'm a homeowner, and I've been smart enough to say, hey, I'm lighting off some fireworks later. I'm not going to touch the alcohol. But maybe someone who came over had some alcohol prior to their visit, and they're a little affected by it, and they're letting off fireworks. What's the case there? Who's liable there?
It's the same thing. There would be an argument that you knew or should have known that person was inebriated, and you allowed them to set off fireworks on your property. So a lot of arguments can be made, and because when people are injured, they want to seek redress, and they want to look at who could be potentially responsible. So it's not just the person who's setting the fireworks off, it's the person who had the right to control or supervise what was being done. Wow. So it can be a scary situation financially for everybody.
You supplied me with some statistics, and I appreciate this because I do think you have to have some kind of sense of urgency and realize, you know, how important it is to take safety into your hands and say, I've got this covered. I'm going to make sure everyone's aware of safety measures. Let me see here. According to the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission, fireworks are involved in nearly 10,000 injuries in 2019. Now, the reason we use 2019 is because a lot of these fireworks shows were, due to COVID, were canceled. So 10,000 injuries. Half of those were treated in emergency rooms with individuals younger than 20 years old. So let's talk about that. Sadly, that's something we all do not want to think about, but it happens often. Young kids and fireworks, they're fascinated. They're attracted to them. Not a good mix, right?
It's not, and that's why as parents and responsible adults, we have to make sure that the kids are supervised and that they have controlled access to these things because they can be very dangerous and the results can be catastrophic.
Here's another stat here that is scary. Children 0 to 4 years of age had the highest estimated rate of emergency department treated fireworks injuries. 5.3 injuries per 100,000 people, and then followed by older teens, 15 to 19 years of age. I can understand the older teens because, you know, again, the fascination with fireworks, I get it. Youngsters, I'm assuming they're just getting too close, or someone's allowing them too close, right?
They get too close, and remember, after the fireworks are used, they're still hot and they can burn and injure. See, the little ones, even after you let the fireworks off, keep them away from the area, because a lot of things we see are burned to the hands and legs, kids picking them up and getting their hands burnt real bad.
Other stats here, Joe, and feel free to comment. 24% associated with small firecrackers, 16% with larger firecrackers. 58% of the emergency department treated injuries were burn injuries. I can understand that, and you mentioned arms and legs and that kind of thing. So, okay, I'll ask you this. A friend of yours approaches you and says, Joe, I know you're with Hughes and Coleman. You're an expert when it comes to injury. I'm thinking about having a fireworks party. I'm thinking about having some pretty impressive fireworks. What would you tell them?
Well, I'm going to say make sure you have someone there who is knowledgeable and that they supervise all the young ones. If you're going to use bottle rockets, make sure you shoot them straight up in the air and there's nowhere near anybody's homes, because there's been incidents those things can cause fires. They can certainly explode near eardrums and eyes, and it's a horrible situation when you see what happens. So you want to be responsible and be safe, follow the directions on the product, keep the little ones away.
Something we have not touched upon, and I want you to help me with this as well, is, you know, when you think of 4th of July, you also think about getting out on the water and having some fun on a boat.
That's right.
Tell me a little bit about boat accidents, how common they are, and why even more so on the 4th of July.
On the 4th of July, people have parties. It's inevitable that folks become inebriated. They get drunk. They like to have fun. We see it all the time. And so when you're on the water in your boat, you have to be careful that everybody with you has a life preserver on your boat, because if you don't have the proper safety gear on your boat and someone's injured, you could be responsible there. When you're navigating the boat, you need to be careful for debris in the water. You need to be careful for people swimming. Be vigilant. We see every year in the summertime injury incidents where folks don't have proper safety equipment on the boats, they're not paying attention, and people are seriously injured. Wow.
I'm so glad that you came on, because I do think that we're all aware of this, but I think the commonality of it and how often it happens, I was not aware, and it really is, it's alarming. And to me, a sense of urgency here is make sure you have these talks before anything happens. Make sure that alcohol is not involved whatsoever. For those who maybe get out on the lake or have a fireworks accident and they need some help, they need some legal help, they've been injured, maybe their child was injured. Okay, tell us the steps, if you would, Joe.
Well, at Hughes and Coleman, our number's 1-800-800-4600. We have our website, www.hughesandcoleman.com. We're free to talk, consult anytime to help folks with safety questions. If they've had an injury incident, we're happy to talk with them as well. We have a site on our website, tips for 4th of July safety. I'd encourage everyone to take a look at that. And just remind everyone, what we've gone through the last couple of years, we've stayed inside, and everybody wants to get outside and just have a lot of fun. Just be careful before you get out there.
That's a good note. You're right. I think people are much like, traveling or going to a vacation. It's much the same thing. It's like, hey, we've been holding back for a couple of years. Don't get too crazy is what you're saying. Just be safe.
That's right. Be safe. That's what we say to everybody. Be safe.
Once again, Hughes and Coleman Injury Lawyers. Let's put the information up on the screen. He is Joe Griffith. Joe, thank you for your expertise. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it.
All righty. Hughes and Coleman.